You can't break free from self-defeating patterns until you confront the lies you've mistaken for a fact. And you can't outgrow who you're meant to be until you let go of who you used to be. That's what this podcast is about, giving you the tools and courage to dismantle limiting beliefs, shed outdated identities, and rewrite the narrative that's been holding you back. This podcast is your invitation to reinvent yourself. Give yourself permission to change. Give yourself the power to become someone new. Rewrite your story. I'm your host, Rhythm. Welcome to Loved and Free Podcast. Experiences, beliefs, interactions, and the environment we live in have a direct impact on us. They are the very substance of our identity and not just mere influences. You can't ignore their power. They shape our decisions, convictions, responses, character, habits, and relationships. They shape perspectives and views on love, success, failure. They dictate our motives and how we show up in life both for ourselves and others. Cultural perspectives can shape our biases. Education can shape ideologies, and our background can shape our choices. We are born without all this, yet with time, exposure, and information, these things are weaved into our personalities and form our identity subtly or consciously. While we may think we are free agents, there's a lot to us that is as a result of things we have little or no control of. For instance, can you trace the origin of your beliefs? Well, this is the point where we get a bit philosophical and ask why. Why do I act the way I do? Why do I respond the way I do? Why do I talk the way I do? The things that I don't like or like, habits and patterns, were not formed out of nothing. They are all set up in the backdrop of acquired information, but they form our identity. Faulty identities are as a result of faulty interactions, experiences, beliefs, environments, and eventually create faulty character, habits, decisions, and relationships. While they do not have or may not have immediate or catastrophic consequences or be very apparent, they gradually but surely change us. It's at that point where we want to grow or advance or even transition that we encounter these faulty identities. At the point where we realize that what we always believed is not reliable in becoming who we want to be. We may have habits that are not consequential in one season, but realize they may be detrimental in the next season of our lives. A once comfortable place may be toxic in another season. The ache for something better than what we want forces us to look at our current circumstance versus the change we want to see. There is a need for a shift in our beliefs, convictions, behavior, ideologies, culture, choices, views, in order to accommodate growth or change. A shift in our identity. Change will cause us to edit several things in our lives. Without this, we may end up frustrated, unhappy, stagnated, and powerless. That's why I'm a proponent of reinventing ourselves. Because more often than not, we update and upgrade our furniture, wardrobes, but we don't do the same for ourselves. Even your phone requires an update for a new app to work. So why are you trying to download a millionaire lifestyle on an impoverished mindset? We don't intentionally or consciously sit down to evaluate who we are. We have vision boards indicating the things we want, new resolutions, and new goals, but not identity goals, or do you? Then halfway through the year, we wonder why we haven't achieved much or even go back on the promises we made to ourselves. It's not the goals and the resolutions that have a problem. It's our software that has not been updated to accommodate what we want and the new realities we want to see. Think of a beautiful goal you wanted to achieve because you believed it would improve the quality of your life. Why haven't you achieved it yet? Why haven't you seen consistency? The software needs to be updated. Your container is cracked, and until you fix your identity, success will always leak out. Reinvention for me starts with a level of self-awareness, taking stock of who I am. What do I want to become? Do I have the capacity to carry the change I want to see? Am I honest about my weaknesses and strengths? Am I willing to edit the things that I have believed in, despite how comfortable and warm they are? Am I willing to confront the comfortable lies? Am I willing to kill my darlings? In most cases, the answer is no. The answer can be no, even when there is an urgency for change, even when it's detrimental to my life. But it's the harsh truth. You don't actually want to be free. Deep down, you find comfort in your chains because they've stopped asking you to be brave. Freedom is exhausting. Misery is easy. That's why you stay stuck on what needs to be revised. Your brain associates safety with the pain it knows. We can normalize toxicity even when we have better options because at our core, we have related more with what is toxic. We may not have known that habit or choice was toxic because it looked normal. We get used to the suffocation because these beliefs offer a false sense or a temporary sense of comfort while our potential is slowly diminishing. Does this sound familiar? Let me give context by referring us to a Bible story that adds emphasis on the power of identity. The story in the book of Exodus is about the Israelites who became slaves in Egypt for 430 years. The power of 430 years of slavery meant a shift in their identity, their culture, worship, and an erosion of who they were. The biblical account of the Israelites in Egypt describes a descent from honored guests to a brutally oppressed people. The challenges they endured are not just physical hardships, but a prolonged, systematic assault on their identity, family life, and spirit. This accumulative experience can rightly be understood as a profound collective trauma, a shared wound that shaped their national memory and faith for generations. Let's recount the experiences. First off, they experienced enslavement, which came with forced labor, intensified oppression, physical exhaustion, and debilitation. Secondly, state-sanctioned infanticide and genocidal policy through Pharaoh's attempt to decimate the Israelite population through systematic child murder, targeting male infants. Third, psychological and identity-based assault. Theirs is a story of brick and blood. Unrelenting labor under harsh taskmasters will have led to chronic malnutrition, physical injury, disease, and even high immortality, all of which erode a community's resilience. Imagine growing up seeing your family members from whom you find safety and protection being whipped daily, and the fear of knowing that it's a matter of time before you undergo the same treatment. Every family lived under the shadow of having their sons ripped away. Just imagine at the birth of a newborn baby boy, living with the agony of knowing that that baby will be fed to the crocodiles of the Nile. This is a textbook form of collective trauma, a deliberate annihilation of a group's future, causing pervasive fear, powerlessness, and unprocessed communal grief. Every aspect of their lives was controlled by taskmasters. There was no Sabbath, no festival, no freedom to choose how to spend one's day. A complete erasure of the rhythms that sustain a distinct culture. Imagine the generational impact 430 years can have on a people. How do we expect an Israelite who was wired by fear and oppression to all of a sudden be excited about freedom? Moses didn't just have to fight Pharaoh, he had to fight the mentality of slaves. You can leave Egypt, but getting Egypt out of you, that takes time. What version of slavery are you still carrying in your blood? While we are quick to judge the disobedient, how did we expect them to worship God when their spirituality had been disoriented? How do we expect them to suddenly appreciate the miracles they experienced from God when, because of horror and suppression, their taste for life has been reduced. How do we expect them to suddenly embrace the God of Moses while whips and torture broke their will, became their language, and stripped away their very dignity, forcing them to live like robots and rewiring their minds only to revere Pharaoh? It's time we have tough conversations with ourselves and ask the difficult questions. Are you truly free? Or is it society that is shaping how you live? When you talk, is it you speaking? Or is it the shackles of how you were brought up? That delay in starting that business, asking for that promotion, quitting that habit, pursuing that goal, leaving that toxic place. It's time to face the mirror. It's time to face the denial and call things as they are. Take stock of who you are and give yourself a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Which number represents you? Which number represents your ideal self, minus the things that have defined you over time? Are you truly living, or is trauma living through you? Your software needs to be updated. If you're tired of starting over, it's time to upgrade the driver, not just the destination.